Very good morning to all of you. Welcome to online class on phytoremediations. In this class, I am going to discuss about basics of phytoremediations, its mechanism of phytoremediations, different types of phytoremediations, and different plants used for the phytoremediation process, the advantages and disadvantages of phytoremediations will be discussed in this class. Before going to know about the process of phytoremediations, we should know about what is phytoremediation. Phytoremediation is the use of plants to clean up contaminated or polluted soil and waters. It is an eco-friendly technology. We can use these plants to remove, to decrease the level of contaminants such as heavy metals, pesticides, organic pollutants from the soil and water. And it is necessity nowadays because of lot of anthropogenic activities increases the load of pollutants in the soil and water. And nowadays there is increase of industrialization, increase of urbanizations, which leads to different types of pollutants in the soil and waters. And different pollutant sites such as mining site, such as industrial locations, such as different types of sewage pollutions, water pollutions. In that pollutant site, we can use the process of phytoremediations to decrease the load of pollutants. And the basic mechanism of phytoremediation is it is a plant-based process, and it is a plant process. Several plants can have the ability, can absorb the pollutants, and it can transform the pollutant into different forms, by which, and also it can accumulate the pollutants to some extent to decrease the pollutant load from the soil and waters. And this process starts with when the pollutants comes in contact with the plant surface, then it can absorb. After these absorptions, it can accumulate and it can transform these pollutants into different forms, so that it can accumulate the pollutants and it can decrease the contaminants from this soil and water samples. Then types of phytoremediations. There are different types of phytoremediations. Mostly these are 5 different types. One is called phytoextractions, and another is called rhizofiltrations, and one is phytodegradations, and phytostabilizations, and phytovolatizations. These 5 different types of phytoremediations we will discuss one by one. The first one is the phytoextractions. In this process, first of all, the pollutants are transferred from the soil or water to the plant systems, and then it is accumulated in the harvestable plant parts such as root and shoot. When the pollutants in the soil are entering into the root, and it is transferred from the root to the different parts such as leaf, stem, flowers and fruits. After that, it is being harvestable, and by this process it can decrease the load of pollutants from the soil, and water. And different plants, different examples such as sunflower and brassica mustards can be used for the phytoextraction purpose. The second one is the rhizofiltrations. In this process, root system play an important role, and the pollutants from these root systems, the pollutants from this soil and water absorbed by the roots, and when it is absorbed by the roots, very less amount of pollutant enter into the upper part, but most of these pollutants or contaminants are observed in the root surface, whereas it can decrease the amount of pollutant from the water and soil sample. And different plants also used for this process, such as corn and sunflower, but basically this rhizofiltration is very effective in case of water pollutions, where aquatic plants are more favorable for this process because aquatic plants have extensive root system. Then third one is phytodegradations. In this process, the pollutants are converting into different forms by the plants. In this process, when the pollutant from the soil enter into the root or it is transported to the different plant parts, then it is converted into lower toxic forms, can minimize or clean off different types of toxic pollutants from the environments. And in this process also, this process is also driven by different types of biochemical reactions taken place in the plants, and different plants has been used for these programs such as tobacco and this. Then the phytostabilization, it refers to the immobilization of contaminants in the soil through absorption and accumulation by the root, and the plant never allow the contaminants to spread out. And in this process also, these plants can able to stabilize the contaminants from the soil or from the waters. It will not spread to the other regions. So for this, revegetation is a beautiful approach for this phytostabilization, whereas pollutants, different types of heavy metals, different types of pollutants can be stored for a longer periods. And due to heavy metal concentration in the surface soil, natural vegetations also cannot be possible. And at that times, if we can revegetate or re-establish the vegetation cover, then the stabilization of these contaminants takes place, and it decreases the spreads of this contaminant from the other regions. And very effective when rapid immobilization is needed to preserve ground and surface water. So revegetation is a very important process, and by which we can stabilize the contaminant in a particular locality so that it will not spread to the other regions. And different plants has been also used. One of these beautiful example is cottonwood, which can stabilize the contaminants to a particular locations by the vegetation cover. Then the some plants can observe these contaminants and transfer the contaminants into different plant parts, where it is by the chemical transformation process it can converted into the contaminants, or the pollutants can be converted into some volatilized forms, and it is released to the atmosphere. You just please see, this is the contaminants in the soil or water. It enter into the roots. After that, it is going to the leaf or shoots, where it is transformed to form the volatile compounds, and these volatile compounds enter into the atmosphere. And some of these examples are salix and Russia olive. These are different types of plants which has been used for this phytoremediation of mainly mercury phytoremediation. These plants can be more effective, and then which are selected for this process should have following characteristic features. The first character is adaptation to the local climate. That means the plants which are selected for this process should be adaptable to the local climate. That means local plants or native plants are more suitable for the phytoremediation purpose in compared to non-native plants or in compared to the exotic plants. And the second one is high biomass and higher vegetation. This is one of these important criteria, that is, if the plant's biomass will be more, then it can able to accumulate more amount of pollutants and more amount of contaminants in the plant body. So higher vegetation cover, higher biomass is always a good characters of the plants selected for this phytoremediation programs. Then depth of root structure. As you know, in this process of phytoremediations, root is the important structure where it can absorb the different types of contaminants. So extensive root system is an important criteria for the choosing the plant species for the phytoremediation programs. The next is high growth rate. The life cycle should be more and life cycle should be short, so that its growth will be more. If the growth will be more within a short period of times, then it can able to transfer, it can able to accumulate more amount of contaminants such as metals, pesticides and pollutants in their plant body. And most important one is the non-edible. The plant should be non-edible, because if it is edible, then it will enter into the food chain, and if it will enter into the food chains or in human beings, then ultimately it causes biomagnifications. So all the plants should be used in this phytoremediation process should be non-edible. And this another important criteria for the phytoremediation is the metal transporter. The plant should have the metal transporter, so that it can transport the metals from the soils to this plant roots, then from this root to the shoots. It can transport it. If the metals, if the plants have some transporter, then it can able to transport the metals. And so basically for this phytoremediation process, always the industrially important plants, non-edible plants, high growth rate plants are selected for this process for better results. The next is its advantages. As you know, the cost of this phytoremediation is less than the non-conventional methods which was used in the industrial methods which are used nowadays. So the cost of phytoremediation is very less. And the second is the plant can be easily monitored, the growth of this plant, because plant monitoring in the contaminant regions is very easy, and also the plants can be easily monitored. Third is it is potentially least harm methods and preserves the environment in a more natural state. And fourth is it is eco-friendly and aesthetically pleasing to the public. And next one is it is helpful in revegetation, reforestation and restoration of degraded lands. The major disadvantages is it takes several years to remediate the contaminant site. The process is very slow, and we can adopt this process to a few number of sites, so as soil and sediments, and we cannot use this technique for everywhere. We have some of these limitations, because some of these limitations we have to adapt for this process. And this it is not effective in site with high contaminant concentration. When the concentration of these pollutants or these contaminants is more, then we cannot use this technique, because we cannot re-establish plant in that regions because of this higher pollutions, because of the high pollution. That is also one of the problems. Then slower than the conventional methods. It is always slow process, and contaminant may be mobilized into the groundwater. That is another problem. If we restrict the contaminant to spreads to the upper part, spreads to the other region, then there is a chances of contaminants may be mobilized into groundwater. So this is all about this phytoremediation process. If you have any doubt, you can you can write in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.